Hello and welcome to today's video on inequality regions. So our first question says, on the grid, shape the regions that satisfy all three of these inequalities. And we have the three inequalities. Now, before we start the question, we have to know two things. Whenever you see this symbol or these two types of symbols, we have to draw a dotted line on the diagram. However, when we see these two symbols, we have to draw a solid line on the diagram. And if you have trouble remembering that, all you have to do is remember that these two are more stronger than these two. Therefore, we have to do a solid line. Okay, and because that one's weaker, we have to do dotted lines. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Now, the first two inequalities are very simple. It says y is greater than -4. I'm going to pretend that it said y equals -4. If it was y equals -4, what would the line look like? It would just look like this, right? Now remember, it is that basically, but the only difference is we've got an inequality. And because it's this inequality, we're going to do a dotted line instead. Okay, so let's just make that dotted. Don't mind me. And there we have it. That's the first inequality done. The second inequality, x is less than x is less than 2. Again, pretend that I said x equals 2. And what would that line look like? It would look like this. Okay. Let's make it a bit neater. And of course, remember, it's just got the weaker version of the inequality. So we're just going to make it dotted. And we've got our final inequality, which looks complicated, but we're just going to pretend that it said y equals 2x plus 1. If it said y equals 2x plus 1, would you know how to solve that? Now, there's two ways. You have the long way or the quick way. The long way would be to draw out a table and plot some points. You know, -4, 0, 4. See where they would end up. If I put x equals -4 into y equals 2x plus 1, you should get -7. Then you should put x equals 0, you should get 1. Put x equals 4, you should get 9. Okay, or try some other values if those values are too not appropriate for the diagram. However, I'm going to do the quick method. The quick method is, what is the y-intercept? Plus 1. So I know it's going to go through here. What is the gradient? 2x. So I know it's going to go through basically 1 right, 2 up. 1 right, 2 up. 1 left, 2 down. 1 left, 2 down. Do you see that, right? So if we just plot these points, we can make a nice diagram. Okay. There we have it. And that's our 3 lines done. Remember, this one was a weaker version of the inequality, so we're going to make it just have a few lines in between. And here we've done it. We've sketched our inequality regions. Now, the final part of the question. Shade the region that satisfies these 3 inequalities. So you've got two ways to do this. It looks quite obvious what the region would be. You know, there's this massive triangle in the middle. It's probably going to be this triangle. But to be sure, what we're going to do is we're going to test a point in the region we think that it is. So if we think that it's that this triangle region, let's just pick a point in the region. Let's pick the easiest point, 0, 0, right? Now I'm going to test this point 0, 0 on each of the inequalities. And if they all make sense, then we know we were right. So I'm going to plug into here. Y is greater than minus 4. Well, is this y greater than minus 4? Is 0 greater than minus 4? Yes, it is. Okay, so this inequality worked. Let's try it with the next one. X is less than 2. Is this x less than 2? The 0. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, it is. That's correct. So this one has worked as well. Let's try our final inequality. Y is less than 2x minus 4. Y is less than 2x, sorry, plus 1. Is our y, which is 0, is 0 less than 2 times our x, which is 0? 2 times 0 plus 1. Is 0 less than 2 times 0 plus 1? In other words, is 0 less than 1? Yes, it is. It is correct. So all three inequalities are satisfied. Therefore, it's definitely the triangle region that we thought it was. Okay? And that's really much the gist of inequality regions.